As promised, I'm back with a Nepenthes video for you guys. I'm Dom here at Red Leaf Exotics, and today I thought I'd walk around the collection and show you some of the newer pictures that have been opening, and we could just talk about the Nepenthes and just geek out for a little bit. I know you guys love looking at them, so let's get into it and show you guys some fresh poppin' pictures. The first one I wanted to start with is smaller, but it's looking really nice. So this is a Jacquelineae cross Platykyla from Exotica, and I love seeing when they're this little and then just watching them grow. You know, the one before it was this one, so you kind of get an idea. And I'll show you guys the new latest picture that it put on. Here we go. I'm gonna spin the pot. Look at that. Much more what I expect from the hybrid. You could see the Platykyla coloration. It's nice striping, even that green speckled body. And then from the Jacquelineae, you get that huge swooping lip, which Platykyla gets it in the upper, so I'm dying to see what this does in upper picture stage. This opens nice and striped like this too, and I can't wait to see how much it darkens. All the pictures before it darken up, you could see this one here. It almost gets nearly black. So beautiful, and I can't wait to see how much it retains the flare. Will it curl back on all the pictures? It's hit or miss sometimes with the Jacquelineae hybrids, but you know, so far so good, and we'll see where it goes. Next up is another Jacquelineae hybrid. This one's a favorite of mine. This is Truncata Jacquelineae. Look at this. Ooh, don't want to break it. How beautiful is this new picture? This thing is great. Beautiful flare. This is the biggest picture it's ever had. It just goes to show, you know, as they get older and they're in their home and you don't disturb them or move to a different apartment like I have my whole life, they really start to get bigger and bigger once they're settled in their house. This is huge. This is great. And this is I would say it's about an upper picture by now. I don't think this hybrid's going to get anything too true uppery. It's pretty viney, and this looks like a nice, you know, intermediate upper. Maybe it's just a big upper. I mean, Truncata hybrids, the primaries, they get huge. This is great. I love all the stripes on these. This is Rocco Exotica Bachiana, a clone from Exotica. This is so beautiful. I love the contrast on the freshly opened picture, and there's almost no picture opening as it starts to get more and more mature. This is one they use in a lot of their breeding. They're Rocco Bachiana Vicii hybrids, and it has such a big, nice striped peristome, and you could definitely see it in a lot of the offspring that it is produced with it. A lot of growers ask what our conditions are in the greenhouse, and here in the Highland, you know, it's summer now. It has been 90 degrees or in the high 80s outside most every day, and it's been cloudy and sunny, and it's been rainy, so it's been really humid. Even when it's not raining, you could just feel the heat and humidity coming off the ground. So the evaporative wet wall is still working pretty well, but you could just feel that the air is thick with humidity because it's just been so gloomy outside. It's been averaging around, you know, 80 and 84 degrees in the greenhouse with humidity anywhere from 65 to, you know, 100% saturation at night. And the plants love that. The wet wall is constantly running, pulling all this air through the greenhouse, so things aren't sitting stagnant and the plants can dry up a little bit. You don't want, at least I don't want, stagnant conditions, so I love the air moving around and drying up the soil so they can be watered again when the time comes. This one was tangled in here. This one is a Truncata cross Lowii Vicii campanulata. I've had this plant for quite some time. Actually made some hybrids with it, and I hope those produce some nice hefty pictures like this with that coloration. But very colorful and eye-catching. I've had this plant since, oh my God, living in Manhattan. It was on the counter there. I've had it for a very long time now. Just beautiful though. And just while I'm thinking about it, I wanted to thank you guys so much. We're almost at like, I think 7,000 followers here on YouTube. We've been making money. Oh my God, what? Maybe I could retire early and just not ever sell Nepenthes and just collect them. But we'll see. But thank you guys so much for all the views and love on the channel. It's actually getting pretty hard to answer comments and questions. Sometimes before bed I go through, but there's so many now but I do my best to get back to you guys. If I don't, you can always send me a friendly reminder. I do my best, like I said, to see. But thank you guys so much for all the love and support. It's awesome to see the channel growing and you guys showing so much interest in what I and we are doing here at Red Leaf Exotics. Moving along, here is a huge peltata truncata that I showed you guys in the tour video or in our mouse eating video. Here is the next one. They just are so beautiful. Got to be careful moving some of these. They're just so heavy and big. Look how beautiful this is. It's big. And I keep this particular plant and peltata hybrids in particular pretty dry, on the drier side. They don't seem to like a lot of moisture in their feet. And they do like it a little warmer, and they seem to grow really nice like that. This is the best it's ever done. And it's just about to get another big picture on the back too that will come out. So I can't wait to see quite a few big pictures on this. Here's one of my favorite dark ones, Ventricosa sibonensis cross Nagabongzo from EP. Gets almost completely black with that beautiful plum blueberry looking interior. And here's the latest picture. Wow, look at all the kind of thorns or spikes it's getting and it's scalloping on the peristome. That is so neat looking. I expect this plant to get some pretty nice size to it too, going by Exotica's Vent Sib hybrids. A lot of them seem to get some pretty good size to them. So when this thing is really big and dark and purple, it's probably going to be 20 times more impressive, even though at a small size, it's still blowing my socks off. Veitchii Candy Dreams is looking pretty good on its basil. This is one of the latest bigger pictures. Look how beautiful that thing is. Candy Dreams, there's no Veitchii like it. There's one over here as well. This one's older, but still very glorious. It gets more and more squat as it starts to mature. Hopefully I can take some cuttings on it soon. And this one also got a new picture up front, Veitchii K Cross M. Look at that picture, and it has a very tall neck on it. More of a closed mouth compared to Candy Dreams. Favorite, and I think it's gonna bloom soon. It feels like it's almost getting a flower spike in here. That would be great. What else do we have? Ooh, Lowii Edwardziana opened a new one. I know you guys love those. Look at that. Really nice ribbing in the peristome, much stronger than Trismatiensis. And they've been growing so fast, they're so vigorous, a really cool plant. Here's a beautiful, kind of old picture, but still very colorful, on Veitchii M Exotica's latest Grex. This plant was almost like an ugly duckling. It was little and green, and then it just has transformed into this big, beautiful, striped, I don't even know what to call it, but it's glorious, it's great. I thought while we're here with some of the Veitchii, I would talk about them. You know, I get asked so much about Veitchii and when they're going to get stripes, and everybody wants stripes, and everybody wants a squat picture, and everybody wants that deep color, pretty much like Candy Dreams is like the dream Veitchii. That's why I named it Candy Dreams. But I wanted to talk about small size Veitchii. You could see this plant here. I would almost certainly say that if you have a Nepenthes Veitchii pure, and it doesn't have stripes at this size right here, it is most likely not going to get stripes at all. I see, you know, certain vendors selling them as striped forms. There's not one stripe on them, and they, you know, they're not going to get stripes if they don't have stripes at this size. Something even this size is going to have stripes. I've seen growers with Veitchii. We're going to back up here a little bit. Maybe this size actually. Have an all green pitcher and still be really hopeful for stripes, which, I mean, who doesn't want to be hopeful for stripes? But if your Veitchii is this size and it does not have at least a hint of a stripe, it is not going to get a stripe. Veitchii are chameleons, and I would say more so with the intensity of the striping, the shape of the pitcher. You know, Candy Dreams is a little more elongate, then it gets very squat. and the coloration gets more intense. But as far as it being completely green for like most of its life and then one day getting stripes magically, that's not going to happen with Veitchii. They do, they're either striped or they're not, heavily or not. And what influences that is the temperature, the light, the conditions. Now that it's warmer, the Veitchii, they look pretty good actually this time of year, better than the last 2 years during this time of year. But when it is cooler, especially in early spring, that is when they get the best color. It's a little brighter, but still really cool in the days. It's not even touching 80, and they really seem to get their best color then. So if you are in lowland conditions, you probably will rarely see many nice, very colorful, long-lasting colorful pictures, if any at all. Here's another new picture that is a little, you know, this one's a few weeks old already. It's not the freshest, but it is big. This is Raja cross peltata, or Nepenthes Leviathan by Jeremiah. Another great peltata hybrid. Jeremiah did a really good job on this, and I love the burgundy leaves. Gotta have that burgundy leaf in the peltata hybrids. And then it does have really nice squat. It's almost just like a Raja in its pictures. I'll lift the lid up here a little. You could see how thick the peristome is when you get toward the back of it. But beautiful plant. And it's looking better than ever. Here's a pretty one right beside it that's newer. This is Lowii Veitchii Bachiana Veitchii Maxima Veitchii B form. And this peristome over time turns a rusty bronze and then almost black looking, which is beautiful. So it has some deep, intense striping now, but I love when that whole peristome darkens up on it. Here's some new and older ones on another Lowii Veitchii Bachiana Veitchii Maxima Veitchii. This is Exotica's A-Grex, or I'm sorry, A clone. It is a clone now because they did cuttings. And we did cuttings on this too that are rooting, so those will be exciting to offer. Beautiful, it's a female and bred it with some cool stuff like Candy Dreams, so I hope we get a little more tub on them but retain that big flared peristome. I thought I would compile two Edwardiana hybrids in one for this shot, both looking awesome. This one to the left here is Rocco Exotica Bachiana Veitchii crossed with Edwardiana, and the one beside it is Ventricosa Sibonensis cross Edwardiana. These look so good for their size. The ribbing is getting way more dramatic and intense as these get larger, and I'm curious to see how they compare to Trismatiensis hybrids. So far, this blows Ventsib TM out of the water with how ribbed this is. It looks like almost like an Edwardiana peristome. And like I said earlier in the video, most Ventsib hybrids from EP do get some good size, so excited to look and looking forward to what that does. I'll hang this back here. And this one too, as far as Rocco Exotica Bachiana Veitchii hybrids go that I have from EP, they start like this. I mean, you could see before that how kind of, I'm going to use the word boring, but it's not boring. Boring this one is compared to this one that's just a leaf or two ahead of it. And then it will just keep getting bigger. You know, this plant will get pretty big. Edwardiana does alone, and this peristome will be more dramatic as it does get bigger. Right now it's looking glorious. Here are some of the hybrids I created just in the past year or two. This one is looking so good. I'm very impressed and proud of it. It's Lowii Veitchii Bachiana Veitchii Maxima Veitchii cross Spectabilis Veitchii. Look at that peristome! Exotica has taught me well. Looking really good at a small size. It's such a small plant for how dramatic this picture is. You could see some prior. And they keep that kind of dark on dark striping, which will be nice once this starts getting bigger. And right beside it is another one with gray color that I made. This is Lowii Veitchii Bachiana Veitchii Maxima Veitchii C crossed with Malus Veitchii. Very intense striping. It glows almost with the purple. And it has a nice big leaf jump with another huge picture coming in the back. I can't wait to see what this does. It looks so good. It's been really fun to pick the parents and the dramatic features and get so excited. And some of them, I almost tell myself there's like no way they can make unattractive offspring because the parents are so beautiful. And that's been a huge part of the fun now being an Exotica plants collector my entire life, is using the beautiful ingredients they spent their entire lives making now in my breeding projects and our breeding projects here. And it's been really fun to see all the traits coming out. I feel like there's this whole new wave and generation of hybrids we're going to be seeing where features are going to be getting even beyond what we thought possible, and I cannot wait to make some. So far, it's looking good. Let's see what else we can find. I'm not sure these were in our tour video, but this is Cebuensis cross truncata. Really big, juggy, hefty pitchers on this one. And I had this one in Brooklyn, even before then on my windowsill. Maybe even before then in Florida, actually. For a very long time, I've had this plant in the collection. And it has produced a basil and cuttings and a basil and cuttings, and now it's on another vine. I think it's going to flower again. But I just love when it gets all these huge pitchers. You know, they're not as colorful as, I love color in a pitcher, but if it's going to be huge, it could do whatever it wants, because when they're big like this, they just look good no matter what. And this one has some nice tubby, hard pitchers that last a very long time, and that nice scallop peristome from the Cebuensis. I mentioned this one earlier in the video. This is Rocco Exotica Bachiana Veitchii cross Saber Dark Cherry. So this one's a lot more mature than that RBV Eddie I just showed you up front, but you could see the traits, how they come out with that Rocco Bachiana Veitchii. Big, thick, flared peristomes, and with that Saber in there, the Trismatiensis macrophylla, you're getting all the ribs shining through. And this one's a female that I'm so excited to breed with. We'll back up here and see there's a flower spike here. So I can't wait to put some pollen on this. Know what would be really interesting? I have some Nepenthes tentaculata blooming, and tentaculata does not bloom very often in cultivation. I would love to put tentaculata on this. I think it would be really weird because it has those very slanted little pitchers. So kind of get some of those primary parents and shove them on something really complex and weird and see how weird we can make Nepenthes. But really excited to breed with that. I don't know if we showed you guys Truncata fipiata in the tour video, but these look great. Look at all this sugar. You guys ready? I don't know if there was sugar last time. Oh my God, it's so good. Spectabilis Northiana Veitchii has been producing some really nice uppers. And finally, it has a basil again. If you guys know this hybrid, the lowers on it are huge, and they look like a giant Northiana, but with even more intense coloration and striping. But beautiful uppers. And this one's a female. It might bloom again soon up there, but maybe we'll do cuttings before then. I'm not sure. Looking good, though. And right beside it is my favorite hybrid that I show a lot. This is Lowii Truncata Giant from Exotica. Their giant form. Look how big this newest pitcher is. It's huge. And they get even bigger than this. The next leaf over there has a huge tendril, and I bet the pitcher will be a lot larger than this. This is the biggest one it's produced so far. And this year specifically, it's growing better than ever, like a lot of the plants are, but I think that's just because they're, you know, really settled. It's been 3 years, they're in their permanent home, and they look awesome. This is so nice. This is one of the last new pictures we'll look at today because there's a billion and we would not have enough camera battery to ever look at everything new. But anyway, this is Ventricosa C, porcelain form. It's the longwood form. It's the best one. Really tough woody pitchers, kind of difficult to grow, very slow. It doesn't vine very often or very much. It's different than the other porcelain types that are in cultivation. This longwood clone is very special. And look at the shape on it. It gets beautiful creamy pitchers. And this is another one that is doing better than it's, like, the best it's ever done. It does have a smaller little one over here. But I hope you guys enjoyed looking at some of the Nepenthes. You got a little bit of information as far as what the temperatures are and the cool air coming through. I'm Dom here at Red Leaf Exotics. I'll catch you next week for more plant stuff. Thank you guys.